what is the best season of our favorite shows? This is... Welcome back, everybody, to... Ken, we need to figure out a name for this in between.
We should have a different name every single time. Really confuse the algorithm. Like,
just make it sure that like we hit all of our corners, all the little niches. This is the Morphin Grid beatdown. Oh, that sounded weird. Never mind.
That sounds weird. I don't know why, but that sounds weird.
But we are debating.
Got 5 guys for a beatdown. It's gonna be great.
I'm not going there. Never mind. I was.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is all getting cut out. I'm getting rid of all this.
No.
But we are sitting down and discussing what is the best season, and we are currently looking at Power Rangers. Last episode, we looked at In Space versus Jungle Fury, and it was unanimous that In Space was the better season. I don't know where I was going to call it, but this episode...
Yeah, it's a 6-month season. No.
I'm still in that little laugh train we just had going for like a minute with nothing being said. But we are now, today, on this episode, looking at Ninja Storm versus Dino Charge.
Let's go.
So
I got some opinions.
Yeah? Does anybody want to kick us off? Anybody want to start us off?
Please, because I love Ninja Storm. It is one of my favorite seasons. It is to me one of the most unique seasons. It starts off for the first time seeing just 3 Rangers. To me, gave more room for character development. It gave us some of the most unique storytelling devices that the show has given us. Like the 2 Evil Rangers. We've seen Evil Rangers, but these guys weren't like mind controlled. They had a legitimate reason to be angry. And I really love that. Yeah. They had badass suits. Really bad. The Thunder Rangers had badass suits. And then we have the actual main Rangers that, I think, I could be wrong, but for the first time, they were trained before they were Rangers. So they had a reason why they knew karate and knew all this stuff. Like they had legit powers before they were actually Rangers.
Yeah.
And then you had, to me, one of the best Green Rangers in Cam, with a great story going back in time. You find out the main bad guy is his uncle. Like, there's so much great storytelling in this season. It's the first season where they have, like, I could be wrong, but I think it's the first season with the open visors. They just slide open.
Yes, or no, yes. Lightspeed might have been. Lightspeed might have been.
Lightspeed would do Titanium Ranger, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
The effect was great because it made them more real. And I think, personally, I just love, like, the acting and, like, the emotion the characters gave off. Like, you had the surfer stoner bro, like you had these characters that felt like real friends that you would have. And I want to say it was the first season in New Zealand. I could be wrong on that one.
Yes, it was.
It had a more fresh feel in general.
So when we were doing Let's Talk Toku, I got to sit down with Koichi Sakamoto and we talked a little bit about what was going on because he mostly oversaw Time Force. So he was like the man in charge and behind Time Force. You know, he had done all of his stunt work, became a producer, and then became, like writer, director. And that was like his primary focus. And during that season, they were starting the transition to New Zealand. So he, even during like Ninja Storm, had to fly over there and like, reteach a lot of these guys that they hired in Auckland to do what they were doing, previously back in the States. And yeah, like the scenery is just, it's so like, we've seen it in a bunch of other Disney era shows, but like Ninja Storm, it feels exotic. It feels otherworldly. Like it feels like someplace like, like when you're at the board shop, like, yeah, I could walk into a board shop like this, but then you go to like the entrance of the school and it's just like, where are they? This is so magical. This is so cool. And you just want to go and visit these places. Yep. And yeah, it really definitely added a lot to the show, just the locale change.
Now, in defense, though, Dino Charge is a good season, I think. I mean, if you love 85 Rangers in one team, you're good. You got it all right there.
The thing about Dino Charge that makes me salty, when you've seen the version overseas, when you've seen the Super Sentai version, and they do the dance before they pop the guns in the air, like, that gets me hyped. Like, I love that so much. I do. I love that so much. And they don't, and like, I was just like, well, they're not going to do that here. Nobody's going to do that here because they're going to think it's silly. And I goes, so like, and I understand, there's always going to be this cultural difference when they do these shows, from Japan to the United States. But like, you're right. There are 11 Rangers in Dino Charge. And like, so Dino Charge didn't hold my interest. I like the cast. It did not hold my interest. And yeah, I'm older now. So I'm older now. So I expect different things, but like, I can still go back and watch Ninja Storm from like first episode to last and be satisfied.
Absolutely.
Through. Like, you know, like the chemistry, not like the chemistry, not just acting wise, but like, you know, between like the characters of Shane, Tori, Dustin, Hunter, Blake, and Cam is fantastic. Like, you know, there is a CG hamster that's a sensei, and we just all let that slide. Like, yo,
You really did.
Which it's, you know,
Really
that's from
did.
the original series too. Like, there's a CGI hamster in Hurricaneger, and we as kids let that slide. Why wouldn't they have let the dancing in Kyoryuger slide? Like, that might have been someone like, you know, 10, 20 years from now looking back on Dino Charge, and they're just like, that, you know, that little dance they pop off every time, you know, they're about to fight. That was weird, but I like that, you know? But
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, we definitely didn't have to adapt it, but it's cool that we did. It's just interesting that it's there.
This episode is brought to you by Mill Creek Entertainment, who are putting out the fantastic Ultraman Blu-rays. I mean, just look at how great these are. The steelbooks are amazing. They're just fantastic sets. If you love Ultraman, even if you don't, check these out, grab them before they're gone, and start enjoying Ultraman.
and Lothar, for all intents and purposes, like, yeah, he's silly, but it's not Rita Repulsa silly.
He was actually funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes he was.
No, he was actually hilarious.
Oh,
He was like a good fighter too. Whenever he fought the Rangers 1-on-1, like that was actually like a really cool battle to see. You don't really get that when you have like, because I mean, Lothar and Sledge from Dino Charge, those are both American villains, and when you've had the Rangers fighting Sledge, it just doesn't have that same kind of like, oh, this is a big deal kind of event fight.
The one sort of dope thing about the villains in this season too is that like when it comes to Power Rangers, we're like constantly trying to add in these comedic duos to sort of like call back to Bulk and Skull, but having them be villains in Ninja Storm was a genius idea, and it made it so much more interesting of a concept than just two random ass teenagers from like the Ninja Academy or something who escaped somehow.
When they realize that they're cousins and like they actually have family at the end of the series, become members of the Ninja Academy. Like, it all comes in a nice little circle.
Yeah.
You know, again,
like-
they do something I like a lot, where they take time to introduce the characters. Like, I think the first episode was just red and pink, and like then it's blue, then it's green, and time to develop.
Yeah.
And I actually really like that. Like, I think the first season of Dino Charge is actually pretty solid. The
It
second
is.
season, yeah,
I completely agree with that. I think it just falls apart when you get to the Super Shock aspect. I think they were just rushing too much with the time that they had left.
Definitely,
Yeah.
like when I first watched Dino Charge, like it was a breath of fresh air. Like coming off of Samurai and Megaforce, which are just, you know, it's like 4 seasons of something that did not service me as a fan at all, which I'm fine with. You know, if other people like it, that's great. You know, it's going to be their show. But like coming into it, like especially watching Shinkenger, I was like, oh, this is like just literally, you know, like almost like a whitewashed version, you know, and it's just Megaforce just put 2 and 2 together and it didn't make sense. And so I wasn't expecting anything for Dino Charge. And the first episode was so good. Like I felt like I was like, yes, this is why I love Power Rangers. And I try to like show it to like, you know, like my college roommates and like, cause like they were in on Sentai, they were in on Rider. And like, I was like, this is Power Rangers to me. Like, this is like a modernized, the graphics are good, you know, like it looks sharp, it's HD. And like, they were like, okay. But like, I could still see that they were like more on board with that versus if I would have showed them, you know, Troy's face from Megaforce just brooding, you know? So I feel like it does have that strength to it. But like, on the other hand, like it's going up against my favorite season of all time, Ninja Storm. You know, you got Dustin. He's the greatest, the funniest, like the person you wish that you could be, or you at least could be friends with. And
super nice in real life too.
Yeah. And like, it's the only season and this might, you know, date me again because I'm older too, but like Power Rangers wasn't available on DVD for a really long time. Like they had maybe like whatever current season, like Mystic Force, you know, like had like a set of like 3 episodes on a disc here and there. And I wanted Ninja Storm.
The classic.
Yeah, and I wanted Ninja Storm so bad that I bought it from the UK and then had to only watch it on the computer in our my mom's office because I changed her disk drive to a Region 2 so I could sit there and watch it. And they were all out of order too. Like all the discs, like all the episodes were on like random ass discs. So I literally had to like print off like a Microsoft Word document of what disc had what episode on it so I could sit there and be like, all right, after this, disc 4. All right, and then back to disc 2.
If I remember correctly, I want to say I was watching Ninja Storm on like ABC Family, like on their Saturday mornings. They'd show it.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only way I'd watch it, and I was just like immediately like, "Wow, this just feels different in a good way." And like you said, like their Bulk Skull was different and good, and like Lothar was funny, and he looks like a guy in a luchador mask. Why? I don't care. He's gonna be a ninja now. Like, and again, when Cam is revealed, I think it was the same episode or episode before that he's revealed, like, oh yeah, Cam actually knows karate. He's not just a computer nerd. Oh. And then a whole arc of wanting to be more and be better and like become this ranger and go back in time and everything and become this awesome samurai ranger. Like, all of it just worked to the max degree for me personally.
When I was a kid,
absolutely.
Even watching, I was like, wait a minute, isn't Lothar their master? Like what? Like even as a kid, I was like, what's going on there? That makes me even more curious about.
Oh no, yeah, I was very confused. I'm like, isn't Lothar a Spanish guy and Cam's Asian? Like I was sometimes confused, but also I will say personally, I think it's rare, but I think the American version is better than the Japanese version of Hurricane Ranger.
I can't speak on that, to be honest.
I haven't seen all of Hurricane Ranger, but I've seen a lot of it, and they do take a lot of the same beats. But personally, I think Ninja Storm finds those beats and does it a little better.
What I said last episode about not watching Jungle Fury because I don't want it to ruin Geki Ranger, I feel the exact opposite for Hurricane Drive. Never finished it because I hold, Ninja Storm so high in regard in my heart that I just don't want any reason to not like it anymore.
And you guys can watch it. Like in America, Hurricane Ranger I think is on the Tubi app, that's how I watched it recently. I was like, okay.
I would like to say, as far as Sixth Rangers, the Sixth Ranger goes with Cam, the one thing about the character, when the uniform, the outfit and everything, the one cool thing is it was this one thing like a lot of Six Rangers can't do, where he could twist the helmet, the top of the helmet, and switch modes, or take the vest off. Like that was hard. Pause.
It was.
Like in Dragon Ball Z when they take off the weights and like the ground cracks because it's that heavy. It's like, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's real cool. Where's that Lightning Collection figure? I'm going crazy now. Anyway.
Yeah, make it going to be
exactly.
Just because I agree with everything you're saying, and in fact I think I am swayed more towards Ninja Storm, but I do want to bring up the fact that Dino Charge I think does a better job at having a consistent narrative. Dino Charge proper, like the first season, more so than the second, has a better way of just has a more consistent narrative that's stretched out throughout the entire series. Like the first episode to the last episode, I feel like there's more something going on to advance the main plot than that is in Ninja Storm. But granted, I feel like the strength in Ninja Storm more so is like focusing on the characters and like little fun stuff like that. I guess it sort of depends on like what you're more into.
Personally, I think that Dino Charge is the best modern Ranger season, like in the past like 6 years or so. I think it's the best
decade.
One. Yeah, the past decade. I'd say, I think it's fair. Like that and Beast Morphers to me are the best like modern Ranger seasons.
I would definitely.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I know we have Beast Morphers coming up. Actually, I think it's next episode, but it's really good. The cast is super charismatic. Like I really do like the Dino Charge cast, even if they are like the most perfect, pristine looking humans on Earth. Like like it's definitely like it adds to it, where I feel like in Megaforce it kind of takes it away. Like you're like, these aren't high schoolers. Like I don't go to school with anybody and they wouldn't be friends with one another.
No, they didn't look like friends. Oh, you know what though? I used it last episode, so I'll say it for this episode. In reverse though, I think Dino Charge has a better Red Ranger than Ninja Storm for the same reason. In Ninja Storm, he didn't feel like he was the leader. He just felt like another member.
And I think that's a strength of Ninja Storm, though. Like, I feel like
it does work for and against it for sure.
I feel like the four of them, technically, because Master's a hamster, guinea pig, whatever. Like, it's really the four of them, and then really just comes down to the three of them having to use their specialties together and realize that they are really strong on their own. And it, like, the first episode kind of shows that, like, where they try to fight all the ninjas and they all split off and they all get their ass handed to them. But then when they come together and they work together, that's when they realize how strong they are. And I feel like a leader of that is kind of a dynamic that gets taken out, which is why they have the hamster mentor, because he's still teaching them on the side, because he knows that if anybody, like, should be in their mindset higher or lower than anybody else, you know, it just the feng shui of it would bust and it wouldn't work. And I think that's a good thing. Brennan does play a really good Red Ranger, though. Final word on Ninja Storm. I'm pretty sure we're all going to go with Ninja Storm. Voting 1 for Ninja Storm, 2 for Dino Charge. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3. Josh is frozen. Oh, there he goes. All right, cool. So another unanimous win. Ninja Storm is the victor of this episode, which I'm excited to see when we get down the road a little bit here in space.
Well, it's going to get real tough.
Yeah. Like, these are kind of easy, you know, like, you can kind of tell watching or even just listening, like, we're going to, you know, kind of side with one of these. But, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we will see you all on the next episode, which will feature, like I said, Beast Morphers versus Lost Galaxy. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you next episode.